What is far easier than most people think? Using the turn signal on the vehicle prior to making a turn. Making bread and cooking in general. There is a lot you can do with a few basic recipes. Last week I beeped up heating up a can of soup. Didn't microwave the U. Panoramic instead of vertical videos. Explaining this to people isn't. You don't lay down on your side when you go to the cinema. Do you? Being nice. No. Sometimes that can actually be really difficult. Upvoting a decent question. Talking to a financial advisor. I think people sometimes think that it's a wealthy person thing. It's definitely not. Their entire purpose is to help you sort your speep out. Explain things to you. And get you on the right track. You are never too young or too poor to talk to someone about your finances. Counterpoint. Nearly all financial advisors aren't any better than just sticking your money into an index fund. Historically, index funds beat financial advisors and you save on their commission. Financial literacy is important. So if a meeting with a financial advisor is a bridge to learning financial literacy, then I agree 100%. Financial advisor and funds manager aren't the same thing. I think you are thinking about folks who actively manage your investments, whereas a financial advisor or planner will answer your questions and help you reach goals. And yes, you are correct that index funds perform just as well, if not better, than actively managed funds. Gaining weight. Murder your enemies. It's the getting away with it part that's tricky. Juggling. A Rubik's Cube. Check out Einstein here. Learning Welsh. Lan fairpol gwangel gogerich werndrobo lanti silio gagagok. Cleaning. Not sure if this was anyone else's experience, but Japanese kanji sucks at first, especially with most having multiple pronunciations, but once you get the simple ones down you realize the harder ones are just amalgamations of parts you already know. Something like, for example, is a combination of multiple common characters / radicals and is nowhere near as bad as it looks. Now I will admit it can take a while to 1. Remember the words that use a special pronunciation of a character that isn't used much, and 2. If you use a computer rather than writing, you will forget how to write a lot of them off the top of your head. Big problem for Japanese people too, but one glance at the character and you can write it again, but actually learning to read the characters is not as hard as you'd think. It's hard, don't get me wrong, but not the insurmountable task everyone thinks. 10 per day and you can make very good progress. Also, when you're at a certain level it becomes extremely intuitive and you appreciate why it's used. If you didn't know what a coronation was, it's unlikely you can work it out from the word, especially as a non-English speaker. But is literally the characters for place on head, crown and ceremony. As long as you know that, you can figure out it's the word for coronation and how it's pronounced from just the characters. Falling into bad habits. Beep this pandemic man. Building a house. Ruining your life. Especially when you're in your teen years. People think that it's ASY to make big errors. But the problem is that you can do several average errors that led to failure even after years. You can make whipped cream by whipping cream. Until recently, I thought it was a special type of cream that you could only buy pre-prepared. But no. Just get a whisk and some regular cream, and it becomes whipped cream. Being present. Half of everything: job, relationships, whatever is showing up and being part of the team. I coached young people in sports for years. Before the first game, I always told them that they were winners because they showed up. If I taught any lesson, This was the most important. Spinning a basketball on your finger. Not being a bigot. A lifetime of conditioning can't be fixed overnight. P. Fair enough. I was talking about more overt bigotry. E.g. screaming at gay people, catcalling, killing trans etc. You know. Learning on your own. Particularly things like instruments or new skills. I always hear people longingly say they wish they had talent so they could learn an instrument. There are tons of free resources all around for learning anything on the internet. Books, libraries, etc. Just find the right guide for you and you're golden. There's really no excuse other than laziness and disinterest. Everyone just wants instant gratification now. Going to the doctor if you have a health condition. Giving up. Building a computer. Driving. I only recently started. And I always thought it took a crap ton of practice to learn. But it honestly didn't take me long and now I'm able to drive successfully and safely. Your mom. Performing maintenance on your car. Learning a new alphabet. Actually doing anything with it is the hard part. Not being racist. Being a full-time alcoholic. Legos. Learning to relax and to be good to yourself. Talk to girls. Being polite. Smiling. Asking people out. Doing it successfully. Now that's a different matter.